Welcome back to the 3 Miles MC, and we're today here with the Yamaha FZR 1000 2LA. This is going to be our first still winter project, and my goal is to get this bike basically perfectly running until April. And yeah, I will take you guys along on us getting this bike ready. We right now have here 3 degrees and it's raining. Well, an optimist would say this is not really rain. But what are the things that we have to get done on this machine? First of all, this bike was running completely fine a few weeks back before I did my trip back from Greece, but now it sadly doesn't start anymore. I came back, wanted to fire it up, and it doesn't show the neutral light and just doesn't start, nothing at all. And the bike is a bit of a ticking time bomb because there's still fuel in the carburetors, and I'm scared of this fuel going bad as I have a bit of carburetor phobia. A part of that, the problems that I can now see are potentially the wiring, as this bike has been sitting 5 years before I bought it. Luckily, the previous owner took care of the carbs not going bad. That's why the bike was driving before. When driving, we found out the bike has a slipping clutch. When getting the bike new tires, I found out that the front forks are bent. We have to get those straightened or exchanged. And at the chance, I would love to get something like progressive forks or something like that. Also, the simmer rings on the forks are not good. We need to exchange them. I now have a bit of tissue underneath the simmer rings to get the bike through TÜV without anyone noticing that those things are not holding the oil actually. And we have a problem with the rear part of the fairing, where the previous owner just drilled with a screw through the fairing, which is an absolute, super big sin, and drilled into the seat. That really sucks, but I actually am really looking forward to trying to get that fixed in a very creative way. Yeah, and with that, let's get the Yamaha 1000 back on the road. What do we need for that? The owner's manual. I have the owner's manual with me, but this is the repair shop manual. I need to unpack this quickly as it's raining and I don't want it to get wet. This is now the manual. It is wrapped in plastic. It will stay like that until it's inside with the rain. Because I got this from eBay for 24 bucks, and usually these are being traded more than 100 euros. So I'm really happy that I didn't have any competition on that, bidding on this thing. Let's get going on the Yamaha FZR, but inside, as I'm getting cold and wet, but it will not get much warmer inside the garage. So let's go.
I will be there for you, babe. I'll be there in your darkest days. Hold you in my arms, you're safe. Yeah. Before I met you, I thought that I had been in love. Thought that I felt everything, I thought that I was done. With all of the things that love can bring, I know it's done, but I love you.
So I've now put down this nice little carpet here for comfort that was in my Renault Kangoo, and now we're going to tackle the electrics issue of this motorbike. So what do we have that we can see? Neutral light doesn't glow and bike doesn't start. This could have multiple different reasons. First, a fuse could be blown. This is most likely not the most likely thing, but this is the easiest to check, so we're going to do that first. I yet don't know where the fuse box is, but it will most likely be somewhere under the seat. The owner's manual says that it's on this side of the bike, basically. The second option, which I think is most likely the actual problem, is that the cable of the neutral light that is connected to the transmission has disconnected somehow, because this cable should be on mass. So I'm hoping that if I find the cable and can put the cable onto the frame, that then the light will glow again and that the bike would start. If that's not the case, then something could be wrong in the wiring itself, where we would need to wrap some electrical tape that compresses when you heat it up around it, but that would only be a temporal fix. If that's the issue, then yeah, that would really suck. Let's hope it's not that. So let's go. I checked a fuse that was potentially related to the dash, and also both main fuses looked completely fine. So sadly, you've just seen we didn't have any luck with the fuses. What does this mean now? We will now check for the cable that's connected to the neutral gear, basically for the light. What do we have to do to get there? We have to take the whole fairing off and then have to most likely search inside like the transmission kinda. It's where the cable then lays. It's where some of the sprockets for the motorcycle lay, and close to that will most likely be that cable. So let's go cable hunting. So I'm looking for a cable underneath this cover, and I suspect that the cable with the little like white piece of whatever wrapped around it is our cable. This is the cable that I want to connect to the frame. The cable goes along over here deeper into the motorcycle, and I'm pretty sure that the cable is connected somewhere underneath this cover. So let's take it off. So we reached a bit of a scary point. Let me explain. We now came across this cover for the sprocket, and usually this looks different on other bikes. Here we have this thing, which looks like some kind of hydraulic thing with like brake liquid in it, most likely for the clutch. Apparently this is like a clutch that it's with not with a cable, but like with a hydraulic apparently. That's wild. And at the same time we have some like cooling liquid here, and all this on this cover, and it looks scary, like some liquid is about to come my way. But we're going to take this one off here first, assuming that there's no liquid behind it. Let's hope so. Otherwise I will have some brake liquid coming my way most likely. And then let's try to take this one off to really look for the switch for the neutral gear. Here we go. Seems loose. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, loads of dirt behind it, like I said. So now in all this grease and dirt here, we have to find a cable. A cable that is connected to the shifter. And I feel like, what is this little green thing in there? That looks suspiciously like a cable. Let's get a toothbrush and clean this stuff up. So we have a bit of a problem. You just saw that really tiny screw, right? That screw is completely stripped and there's no way of getting it out. And that is like a computer level small screw. Like that is a screw so tiny you would find it on an iPad. Yeah, and exactly that one is stripped. I now have gotten this tool at home from my dad because it's like 1 in the morning and I really want to get this thing out to kind of plan for the next like thing that I do because of the long commute to even get here. And this is now a kind of tool for this, but it's way too big. But It's kind of our only hope. If this doesn't work, we will have to buy like a tiny fucking drill or some shit, and it will literally cost us at least a week on this project. So really pray for this one. So this is the screwdriver that we're using now, again from this perspective, and I'm kind of trying to hold it close to the screw right here. You can kind of guess that this one is way too big, as you can see. So let's still try this. Let's put this one in there. Yeah, it's way too big, but still, let's give it a good try, because this is our only shot. If this does not work out, we're truly fucked here. Then this will be a very time and money intense project. Come on, maybe you can do it. Just maybe. I think this thing just did it a bit worse. Fucking great. We are truly fucked. We did not manage to get the screw out with this tool, and this now means we have to get this little thing out there, and I literally don't know how to do that. This is literally the worst that could have happened. So I now have a bit of a different idea. I found out that the screw is relatively soft. I have this thing that you can squeeze together. I now forgot the word for it, and I can put quite a lot of pressure on it and try to make the screw more flat to give us a surface area if I really push on it with both hands. Yeah. Full force. Now, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but now it has a flat side. So I hope that I can now literally twist it like this. Okay, let's do this again. Compress into it, and now twist. Okay. Now it should be loose. I think we're actually getting somewhere. Yeah. Actually, this thing is so stripped that this thing, even if it's not solid anymore, has big trouble getting this thing out there. Just for context of how small this screw is, this is the screw laying inside my hand. This tiny little screw. That was our problem. And now, let's get this thing to the frame. The frame down here should be enough. Let's attach this to the frame. And now you are sticking to this frame. Okay. Nice. Let's see if the green light turns on. Okay, no neutral in. Fuck. No. I thought the motorbike is in the neutral gear. Fuck. Let me check how freely this thing is. Yeah, no, ground underneath. The thing that we can though try is to start the bike like this. No, nothing. But we sadly can now also not really say anything about the neutral gear, which is odd, as I earlier shifted the thing into neutral before starting this whole project. Fuck! And I made sure of that. Most likely when I was taking the shifter off, I accidentally must have shifted it into first gear. But if this cable is applied... Huh? What is that? Just made a sound. I really now pressed it onto the frame, and I heard the battery make a clicking noise. It's likely because it found the fucking... Let's try again. Okay, let's try again with pushing this thing down. Yes, we found the issue. The motorcycle just tried to start. Then the thing lost contact here again. So we're now back here the next day, as it was very cold and I was very tired last time, as it was already very late. But I now can confidently say we managed to diagnose our problem, why the bike is not starting. I am pretty sure that it has something to do with the switch for basically the neutral gear, not the switch itself, but basically the electrics that are behind it to then give the information to the neutral light. So most likely something in that regard is going to be wrong, that we most likely will have to exchange the switch behind it, and also check the wiring with a multimeter if everything on the way is basically working out. And then I hope that the bike in that regard should be firing up again. How complex changing the switch is going to be is still a quite wild question to me, as most likely it's going to be relatively complicated, as I see the cable coming out of the middle of the engine. I hope we don't have to do too much intense stuff to get there. Then getting the bike back together will be a challenge, as I accidentally grabbed into the clutch to change the gear into the neutral gear when the bike was not in neutral gear anymore. And with this having a hydraulic clutch, most likely I messed something up. So I will need to look into that one again. But for the diagnostic side of things, I can very gladly sum up. We kind of know what the problem now is about. Now we have to go from diagnostics to solution and have to change the part. And yeah, all in all, quite happy that we got so far. If you really like this kind of content and like me exploring how to wrench on motorcycles, definitely like and comment and all the good stuff, as I'm basically running out of time to get this channel out of the red numbers. Trying my best to get somewhere where this channel is financing itself until October, as that's basically where my finances will run out to sustain this project. So definitely like, subscribe and comment, and see you guys in the next video.